This is the original Firefighter Podcast, where we talk about anything you would talk about at the firehouse kitchen table. And sometimes we even talk about fighting fires. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Let's get into the show. Well, folks, welcome back to another edition of the original Firefighter Podcast. I'm your host, Will Peterson, and with me is Phil Nedved. We're seeing a lot of Phil because, Phil, you're a part of the team, and I love that.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, what's going on, dude?
Damn glad to be here.
Yeah. Look at this guy. This is gonna be fun. Yeah, I mean, you bring a lot of energy, obviously, to the show, and we love that. You know, we've known one another for quite a long time, and we've also got to work together on the fire department for a number of years. And over the time, I think I've said this to you before, but I mean, I've grown to have such good respect for your thought forward. Leadership, and you really are. You're always out there looking out for the firefighters. You doing your work with the union, doing your work with the honor guard, and then your leadership. Most recently at Ladder 2 as a lieutenant. Man, there's a lot of changes going on in the fire department these days.
Yeah, it's a far ways away from where I first came on, and the first time we actually worked together was on Charlie 27. and I thought you were kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Picture this. 2007. Ladder 9. Charlie 27 is the ambulance, for those that wouldn't know. Now it's Medic 9, but at the time they were Charlies, and that was its identifier. And we rode together. I think we had nights together that day. And then they left me there, kept me in the rotation. So the very next day we had days together because we do the 12-hour shift and split, you know. And I walked in the morning and was like, hey, man, what's going on? And you were like, who are you? What a fucking... Like, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, no.
Pretty...
Well, you mentioned 2007. That was getting towards the end of my ambulance career. And that was a rough year. Boy, oh boy. Yeah,
that station at that time was not a fun place because I did 1 year at that station in 2012. I think I was there, and it was nonstop all day, every day. The ambulance was running 20 plus calls a day, and if you were on nights, was the busy part of that 24 hours, so 12 to 15 calls a night on the ambulance.
Right.
That ladder. Most people think, well, next day I'll be on the fire truck at night and I can maybe get a little rest. But that ladder was just nonstop too. They outran that ambulance sometimes because.
Well, that was right on the. I want to make sure I have my years accurate, but if I might be off by a year. But if my memory serves me right, I think we were trialing a ambulance downtown at Station 1. They were calling it Charlie 12, and. But they did that, and so the Northwest ambulance that we were both at, Charlie 27, which is now Medic 9, much better.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But that at that time period when there was that trial downtown ambulance, I mean, you know, station Charlie 27 / Medic 9 was much slower.
Yeah.
And everyone was like everyone's attitude just like skyrocketed, you know, like in a positive way. And then they were like, okay, the trial's done. And they moved it out to, I think, Station 4.
Station 4, Charlie 12.
And as soon as they did
beginning of 2007,
Medic 3 and Medic 9's, the numbers just went through the roof.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone's attitude just, you know.
4,700
just
calls
cratered.
a year, 4,800 calls a year.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
Not fun.
Yep.
Not a fun place.
Yeah, so, you know, hey, you know, my apologies for any of the attitude that I sent your way.
No, it's okay.
But here we are in a podcast together now, and how great that is.
I'm just going to go ahead and put these down.
Yeah. So, which is kind of cool. We get to officially announce that Phil Nedved is a part of the original Firefighter team, and we'll be seeing you very often on the podcast show. So we're happy about that. Yeah. To get into what we're doing today, we're going to be hitting some of the ancient conversations about firefighting. We're going to talk a little bit about the legacy and of firefighting, where it came from. Obviously not from the United States, because you'd have to go way back, which we will. We'll take a trip back in time. But before we do that, we're going to stick to our usual opening segment where we talk about some current events, just talking about some things that we would do around the kitchen table in the firehouse. And I have a song for you. To start the song, yeah, it goes like this. Have you heard it? It's called "Bomb, Bomb, 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 Iran." Bomb, Iran.
Was that high enough that I couldn't plug my.
That was
ear.
a good backing vocal. Yeah, it was a good one.
My daughter
there.
does that all the time. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, wow, we did it.
Yeah,
that was the fuck around and find out, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this country was divided before. It's pretty divided even more on this topic too now. You literally have people going out in favor of Iran. American citizens.
Oh, yeah.
In favor of Iran. Like, whether you agree with the bombing of them or not.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Time will tell if that was the right choice.
Yeah.
To be in support of Iran, though, I've got questions.
Yeah.
I've got questions of where your loyalties lie, and
well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, loyalty is fragile, right? I know that I have personal loyalty to the United States.
Yep.
You know, I love this country. I am so much in love with America, and we've often said on this show.
Well, your shirt says it. Keep America great.
I wore this today for a reason. There's a number of reasons that I wore this today. And this is our shirt from Original Firefighter. And yes, we do support the current administration. But that, we've said it. I've said it. We're pragmatic, and that means that we can have open conversations and dialogue, and we can listen to other people's viewpoints. And we don't suggest that everything that we say here is everyone's cup of tea. We're fine with that. That's fine. Joy Reid was just on CNN, and she was going off about how the United States does not have the moral authority in the world to decide who can and cannot have nuclear weapons.
Right.
There's a number of problems with that. Okay. Like it or not, nuclear weapons are not going to go away. It was bound to be discovered anyways. It was going to happen. Just basic physics, science, as development occurred after, through World War II and then post World War II, nuclear discovery was going to happen.
Right.
And then to weaponize it, that was also going to happen as well. And we've talked about this before, and we always hear that, the United States of America is the only country to use nuclear weapons. And it's like, well, that's a good thing if you think about that. Because let's say that it was maybe North Korea to be the first ones to use it, they'd still be using them. They have no break.
Yeah.
None of these other countries, the 9 or the 8+1, which we do assume that Israel does have one, but they just haven't publicized that. But the idea that any of one of these other countries that have nuclear weapons, they have no break. Because they live in parts of the world that suck.
Yeah.
Sorry, but they do. I mean, not everything is equal around the world, which is, talking about what they can mine, what they can produce within their own borders, goods and services, raw minerals, raw food and water and things like that. So, I mean, the United States of America does have a land of abundance.
Yeah.
And when you basically are living in the dirt, you're digging for anything and everything. If you have a nuclear weapon, especially with the fact that they hate Israel, right?
And us.
Right? They hate us.
Yeah.
So not only if they had a nuclear weapon would they obliterate Israel right away,
right,
and then they would turn their attentions on to us.
Yeah, I mean,
so pick your poison here, but I'm going to stick with what we're doing on this side of the pond. Back
in the 70s, Iran was not a terrible place, right? It was very modernized and even westernized.
Right.
Right. And then you had the Shahs come in and they totally turned it into religious fanaticism, and it went a little crazy after that. It's not like Afghanistan. It's not like Iraq, right? I mean, it was a very developed country to a point, and then we saw that change. But when you have people who wish death upon Israel, stated openly as one of their goals, and death to the West and death to America, I mean, there's only so much. Now, one could make the argument that, are they ever going to get the nuclear bomb to send all the way to the United States? Probably not, right? But that doesn't mean that enriched uranium can't be utilized for smaller, dirty type of bombs and weapons that can be utilized and smuggled in here, especially, thankfully, we have a closed border where this is the first time ever where we have no people coming across the border.
Isn't that incredible?
So when you actually do your job of, protecting your border, protecting your citizens.
Protecting our laws too.
But there's nothing,
enforcing our laws.
Right. But there's nothing to say that something isn't already here that came across the border a few years ago when it was wide open. So,
for sure.
I mean, you have to imagine that there's plenty of countries that hate us and our way of life, because America has freedom. There's got to be sleeper cells all over this country from, this group or this country.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of countries that dislike us. Russia, China, Iran, just to name a few. So when I'm no geopolitical expert, right? I've got a high school education, but
we're firefighters. We know that.
But I can look at things and say, listen, if it's just like the kid on the playground, like, I'm going to hit you, I'm going to hit you, I'm going to hit you. How many times are you going to allow him to say that before you're like, at some point he might.
Yep.
I know he's said it a few times and's been saying it, but I'm not going to let him strike first. It's kind of like Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Strike first, strike hard.
Strike hard.
No mercy.
No mercy. Yep. You just got Cobra Kai.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where it's like, I'm still torn. I don't want to. I'm not a fan of isolation, right? Because we are a global economy, right?
We're
which I'm not the biggest fan of that either. But I don't believe in isolation, but I am maybe somewhat non-interventionalist, right? I get our allies, but I question some of our allies' motives too sometimes, because you can go back to 2002 when the same ally who we're defending now came and spoke and talked about weapons of mass destruction. That term was not used prior to that congressional hearing.
Oh, sure.
By a certain prime minister from a country. Two things can be true, right? What you're referring to in 2002 is, they were wrong. Yep.
And not only were they wrong, the Bush administration, but they also were misleading. I mean, say it clearly.
Well, I think they were misled by the other country.
I think that they were
that their intelligence and yet again.
I think they were looking for anything and everything and any possibility to go into Iraq.
Yeah,
I mean there was vengeance there. There was some past issues, daddy issues with the first Bush.
Yeah.
So they were looking for any reason to go into Iraq.
You made my dad look stupid.
Yep.
Fool me once,
but I would say this is not a reflection of that circumstance.
No.
There was really only one country on planet Earth that could go in and take out this facility in Fordo, which is the United States of America.
Yes.
The only military that could carry out that mission is from this country.
Right.
If Israel could have done it, they would have done it. I mean, they gave them everything that they could, and they were very, very successful to the point of controlling the skies and knocking out tons of their. I was thinking about this just to swing to, and not to mention the fact that the aviator sunglasses you're wearing reminds me of Maverick, Top Gun, and when they're dropping the bombs, and when they're dropping the bombs on the F-14s that are sitting in Iran, I was just like, what is Maverick going to use to get out of Top Gun 3? How will he get back to the aircraft carrier?
Literally, Top Gun 2 right? I mean, this was the premise of that movie.
It was the whole thing.
Had to, one plane went in undetected. They had to go in undetected, which our planes did, right? Undetected. They didn't even know anything until after they were outside the airspace. So they have to get in there undetected, drop the one bomb, and then the second bomb has to hit in the same exact spot that first bomb hit. I just want to say they copied another movie, Star Wars, right?
A little bit.
So,
yeah.
Death Star.
Yeah.
Weak point.
He remember what was his line? He's like, "Oh, that's just like hitting a womp rat. That can be bigger than 2 meters."
Yeah. Fucking nerd.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. You're right though. Gosh darn, man, the Top Gun 2 literally was like.
And they didn't say what country it was, but it might as well have been Iran.
Do you think that's what the Department of Defense pulled out? They're like, let's just watch Top Gun 2 and then do that.
This is how we're training, boys.
Yep. Well, I mean, Hegseth has said, he's going to make the military great again, and they were going back to, badassery and being all...
The 80s were a great time in this country, right? You had Top Gun coming out. You had...
Reagan was president.
Yeah, Reagan was president. You had... metal bands with women in high heels, how can you go wrong? It's like, that's what we mean when we make America great again.
Tubbs and Crockett, Miami Vice.
Got my cheddar shot today.
Little cheddar shot right here.
Cheddar.
I'm a little too close to that, I got to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to our remote podcast.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
Anyways.
We're playing footsie underneath the table if you can't see.
Oh, God. You put some lotion on, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so, like we said, we're going to talk about some current events, and Iran is obviously front and center, and again, there's always going to be critics. There's going to be people that think they know, they were just, who was it? Jasmine Crockett she jumped on social media, and she was, bitching that Congress hasn't been pulled back into session. They haven't been advised, or they weren't asked permission, and that, it's actually herself that gets to decide if bombs are used. And it's like, I wouldn't bring you in to help make a sandwich. Like, fuck that. She's an idiot.
Well, the problem is, never mind.
No, go for it.
I think I saw her. We're out in DC. We're at the airport, and we just landed a few months back, and we were going to get a cab, and I saw her there, and she was looking rough.
Jasmine Crockett?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because I even was like, I'm pretty sure it was her. So then I pulled a picture of her and showed the other boys I was with, and I'm like, was that her? And they're like, oh, for sure. Yeah, 100%. So, didn't look great. Not great.
Not great. Well, continuing on with a little bit more politics, and again, a reason why I thought, well, I better start putting this shirt on and getting the message out early for a John Vance, J.D. Vance. Sorry, J.D. Vance.
That's actually a firefighter on the job.
Well,
John Vance.
For pot.
Shout out, brother.
Yeah. Go John Vance.
Yeah, you're going to be president.
Yeah. J.D. Vance, looking forward to him running for president in 2028. That's the shirt right here I got on from Original Firefighter. And, but, there's cause and reason for this, because we, on a previous episode, had mentioned that the primaries for New York City were coming.
Yeah.
And I think I swung around to, just drawing attention that, Andrew Cuomo was running again, and he's got a lot of skeleton in the closets. Actually, somebody made a comment on one of our social medias. They said, well, this aged well. Because, hey, to your point, it did not age well. But so Cuomo loses. But
the nipple rings did age well.
Right.
Just throwing that out there.
They got to be a little saggy at this point, huh?
I mean, it looks like it was holding up.
But the bigger conversation today is that a full-on communist has won the Democratic primary in New York City, Mandami, right?
Allegedly communist.
No,
right?
no.
He says he's a democratic socialist until they get in, and then they drop the democratic part.
He's a commie.
Socialism is just one step away from communism.
He's a commie. Yep.
Hey,
no.
You don't mess with the Zoran.
Right. But this guy is so. It's interesting because I've been consuming my news. I've been looking into some stuff, just to get a kind of a baseline of where these players are at. And first of all, it's sad to think that this is where things are at in both of the largest cities in the United States. Over in L.A., it's a trash fire. Mm-hmm. And we know the leadership that's out there, Karen Bass, Newsom. And now we swing over to New York City.
Well, and actually, so not too long ago, the Chicago Tribune actually wrote an article that said New York learned from Chicago's mistake of electing a mayor like this.
Really?
Yeah, because of Mayor Johnson and his terrible running of Chicago. I mean, so the three. I mean, you have the coast and then the center of the country.
Right.
Not looking great.
It's not looking good at all.
In 2028.
Well, and there's no way that this is what the Democratic Party was as a whole. I'm not saying that you don't have individuals within both parties that are absolutely crazy.
Loons.
They're loons, right? Both sides have loons inside their camps. But as a collective, there's absolutely no way that the Democratic Party wants this to be their message as a whole.
It's New York City, though. I mean,
but where do you go from here?
Hey, man, when the candidate, the Democratic candidate for mayor in New York, is talking about relieving ownership, private residences or private, landlords.
Yeah.
Taking over control.
Rent freezes.
Like that. That's insane.
Right.
Like that is, like, you're right. That is, I'll say socialism. I won't go full communism yet.
Well,
but
it's
one short step away.
Okay. But isn't it not a communist principle if you think that you're in a position that you can tell landowners, renters what they can and can't do? First of all, mayors can't even do that.
Right.
You have to, that goes through your assembly or your city council.
Right.
Those are the ones, those are the officials that create the ordinances, right? Just like lawmakers on the Hill in Washington, D.C. create bills that become laws and eventually get signed into law by the president. So you got this guy here saying that he's going to tell renters or landowners what they can set their rent at. They're freezing their rent at certain price points. Then they're going to go in. His idea is to go in and take over grocery stores, or to at least create, maybe not take over, but to create city markets that are controlled by the city of New York City. Mm-hmm. Therefore, setting certain prices that, he's claiming that somehow the grocery stores are profiteering, which is BS.
Not a lot of
margin there.
Not a lot of profit.
Not a lot of margin.
Unless you're Whole Foods, then when you charge $10 for
you're just literally burning your money if you go shop at Whole Foods. I'm not saying they don't have some good stuff.
Good.
It's very good. It's very good.
Good stuff.
Yeah. But
you think you're eating healthy, but you're still eating bread, right? Like
yeah.
Oh, look at these! I've got chocolate covered nuts, but they're from Whole Foods, so they must be healthy. So I'm going to eat the whole thing. It's like chocolate and nuts,
but it's dark chocolate.
But it is heart healthy.
Heart healthy. Yeah. I love the salads that are like 1,400 calories.
Yeah. You know how much sugar is in dressing?
Right.
It's insane. Oh, I love it.
And then he's going even further. He's talked about how buses will be free, taxis will be free, free bassinets and child goods, diapers, and everything's free. Everything's free.
Yeah,
let me tell a quick story. I'm going to tell you a quick story about what free actually looks like. This episode is brought to you by Strike the Box Cigars, Pipes, and Tobacco. Whether you're a seasoned aficionado or just starting your journey into the world of fine tobacco, Strike the Box has what you need. From the finest cigars to premium loose leaf tobacco, Strike the Box delivers on quality in a welcoming space where you can enjoy a smoke and good company. Additionally, Strike the Box specializes in vintage pipe restoration. We're talking estate pipes brought back to life with craftsmanship that borders on art. Got Grandpa's old briar gathering dust? Let the crew at Strike the Box make it smoke like new. Check out their full list of vintage pipes for sale at striketheboxpipeandcigar.com or swing by the shop located at 6935 11th Street, New Milford, Illinois. Soak in the aroma and talk shop with real tobacco lovers from the American Fire Service. Strike the Box, where fire, flavor, and tradition meet. Again, that's striketheboxpipeandcigar.com or swing by the shop located at 6935 11th Street, New Milford, Illinois. So my girlfriend and I, we go to the Kentucky Derby this year. And we go with some other firefighters and their significant others. So we had a group of, I'd say, 12 people that went. Going to the Kentucky Derby is a chunk of change.
Yeah.
So we buy these tickets. It's an all-inclusive ticket, each individual. And so, I've got my ticket for myself and my girlfriend, and we're in this paddock area where all the drinks are included, all the food is included, plus the seat that we have, which was on turn one. It was very, very nicely a great experience, okay? And we're eating some food, we're drinking some cocktails, and my girlfriend goes, she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that all this is free." And I'm like, it's not free.
Yeah.
None of this is free.
Hers probably was, because if you paid for it, then maybe. But,
yeah, I'm just saying.
Someone paid for it.
It's not free. Nothing's free.
Yeah. Nothing
is free.
You know what? We did get all like COVID money, right? That was free. Oh wait, we're $39 trillion in debt. Never mind.
We got flagged. That's funny you bring that up. We got flagged on TikTok for referring to, and I'm going to use certain phrasing now so that I don't get flagged again. So we made reference to the fact that during COVID, many of us were expected to, if not forced to, take the ouchie shot. Okay.
The Fauci?
The ouchie.
I like the Fauci.
I know, but if you don't want to get flagged, then you gotta
smack schmeen?
Yeah, the Ovid shot.
Oh, that was
too close.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to do some trickery so that you don't get flagged.
So a Chinese company.
Yeah.
Who?
Yep.
Never mind. I won't even get into it. You can watch our previous stuff where I'm talking about it.
Yeah. But you will get. I'll tell you what. You can talk all day long about the assassination attempts of Donald J. Trump.
For sure.
You can talk about anything else, but you cannot talk about Dr. Ouchie and the Ovid shot. You'll get flagged.
Smack me. Well, what's crazy about that is, YouTube was doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't talk about it. Twitter, before it being X, did the same thing. Facebook did the same thing. Censorship, all that stuff. Now there might be a tag on there. It'll say for more information, because when we even talked about the election, a while back,
right?
You could look at the video and you'd see it, for the upcoming election, click for more details, like how it knows. AI is a great thing.
It is. It's a scary thing.
It is. Skynet,
I know. So, anyways, so some very strange times out there. We are, obviously, we have the ongoing conflicts that we just referred to between Israel and Iran. The United States stepped in, bombed them back to the... hopefully we at least set them back for many years on their nuclear program. Not to say that they probably won't start that up again at some point, but that's just the way they do business out there in the desert. Like I said, things on the east and west coast are very interesting right now. We'll have to see how this election plays out in New York City. Hopefully, I think Cuomo and the current mayor, they're running as independents. I'm pretty sure that's what they're planning on doing. I don't think that that's going to work. I think that they are going to have a clear one person to go up against this. This man, he's like 34 years old. It's
called extremism.
It is very, very. Speaking about extremism, so I swung back over to the West Coast kind of wanted to keep my eye on what's going on out there with the LA fires. And obviously there's just tons of devastation, tons of cleanup, and there's tons and tons and just more and more reporting about people that are trying to get their lives back together and how basically their insurance companies are just dogging them. State Farm being a big one. Obviously, we know that they virtually pulled out of the state before the fires happened, but they're either dragging their feet more than anybody out there. There's reports of people that are trying to go back into their homes, trying to figure out how they're going to either rebuild, how they even clean up their houses. And we referred to this in another episode where you have so many contaminants inside these houses. They can't even go into their houses without a N95 or a rebreather of some sort that protects their lungs because of what's saturated inside their houses. And it's crazy. I saw one report where State Farm had given out like $170,000 on what would probably end up being like a $1.7 million rebuild. So it's just pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
It's crazy what they're dealing with. And then obviously the things that have happened in LA recently with the fires, the riots, that continues to go on with
peaceful protests. Let's not get knocked on
quote
TikTok
unquote
again.
Peaceful protests
With censorship.
Great leadership going on out there, and I use that obviously sarcastically. In other news related to the fire service, got to give a shout out to Chicago Fire Department. They recently responded to the Austin neighborhood where they had a 3-story building that killed 3 individuals. One woman was pregnant, but then they rescued 3 people as well, and they have 1 person missing. That was where did that happen at? It all sounds like foul play. It was they heard gunshots before the fire broke out, then an explosion. And then soon after, this fire was reported in the 5200 block of West and North Avenue. So, and then the 3 victims were a 5-year-old, a 32-year-old female, and a 76-year-old male. So, but yeah, they did act heroically. They did their job, and they did it all without a contract. Yeah.
Keep showing up.
Yep.
That's what we do.
4 years going on, no contract for Local 2.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
Like you had talked about in a recent episode, the anatomy of a church fire Mayday, where you talked about, first responders, first ones there, but the first one to be cut too. That's what it is.
Yep. Right? Exactly. Sorry, before we go into our next segment, also just to bring up, Pritzker just announced that he's running for a 3rd term. Shocker. Not shocked. Yeah.
Yeah.
But here again, we don't have much to choose from, do we?
Nope. This is a blue state because of Chicago, and we know how they elect.
Right.
So.
Who was the last Republican governor in Illinois? Rauner, right?
Yep. Which he was a dog shit governor too.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Tried stripping our pensions. Wanted to.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is that how we ended up with did we end up with the tier 2 under him?
The Democrats. That was Pritzker that did that.
Okay.
So
where are we at with that? Can you speak to any of that?
Yeah, unfortunately, nothing, no movement on it thus far. We're hoping to see some movement, and we're going to start pushing. We were working with an organization, Wear One Illinois, which is all unions together, teachers unions and firefighters, police officers, other labor unions, to get that corrected. I think we're going to kind of try and separate ourselves from that because, at the end of the day, if the politicians aren't going to take the group seriously, then we have to stand up and we have to lead the way.
You have to fight your own battle.
Yeah. So we'll be pushing that. I mean, that fight's not going anywhere. We'll continue to fight that. There's no reason that, just because of when you got hired, you get a different benefit. We're doing the same job. How can I have a guy who came on after 2011 doing the same job as me? If something happens to both of us, his family, his spouse, his children get something totally different and less than my spouse, my child. It's wrong. It's wrong. We're doing the same job.
I don't remember I don't exactly remember when this was said to me, but I remember a veteran firefighter on our department that had said, this was about the time when the tier 2 was starting to kick in. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of obviously pushback, to not have this happen, but It did. But to have these separate tiers, and the comment that was made to me was like, you don't want a 55-year-old firefighter crawling around in a house fire.
Right.
And take out the fact, or maybe we should factor in that hopefully, by the time that you are approaching your 50s as a firefighter, maybe you have somehow promoted in some fashion. Maybe you're up, but that doesn't get you out of the fire.
No.
Maybe you've gotten to the point of driver engineer and you're not maybe going in as often.
Right.
But none of these positions on the fire truck it doesn't get you a pass at the fires.
Everyone's working.
Everyone's going to work. Whether you're in that right front seat as the officer. In fact, if you're the officer, most likely you have got some pretty decent experience on your shoulders, and you're probably showing people that have very little experience. So you're right up there with them.
Listen, we've talked about before, lieutenant for life, right? Now I'm very fortunate. I go at 50, right? And I might stay longer. I might not. I don't know yet.
Right.
I'm not there. But even at 50, I'm going to be in the same position I am today.
Yeah.
Hopefully at the same station, doing the same job I love, hopefully healthy. Still a 50-year-old crawling around in a building.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So now these, these firefighters, at least in this state, now they're pushed out to 55 to get their max pension, right?
Well, and then so think about it. 55 is the soonest they can retire.
Right.
Right? Without taking a penalty on their pension, which is silly.
Yeah.
A penalty on my pension? 6% a year. I retire every year. I retire before 55. So if I go at 50, 5 years, that's 30% of your pension is gone. You've been penalized. So
really?
No one's going to go.
No.
Right? So definitely something that needs to get changed. But even think about it. What are the leading causes of death in firefighters? Cancer. We're making people stay longer now to expose them even more to cancer.
Right.
Cardiac. Older people develop these cardiac issues. Guess what we're doing? We're having older people in the fire service for longer exposed to these two things. So what's going to start happening? The benefit that I could receive when I retire is a lot less potentially than the benefit if I have a line of duty incident where now I'm dead and my wife and my children get the certain benefit now. You're going to see a lot of negative things. We're not there yet because obviously it's tier 2, the most senior person on any fire department that's tier 2 is 14 years on the job.
Right.
Right. So they're nowhere near retirement, but it's coming, and if we don't change things, you're going to have people you're more likely to have these line of duty incidents because you're having people that are older, staying on longer, more exposure to these things, which then that doesn't even factor in the mental health aspect of it either with suicide, which we know is one of the leading causes of death in firefighters. Maybe not a line of duty, even though it probably should be, because the reason I might have taken my own life was because the exposure to the trauma I'm dealt with at 30 years of my career. It's just unfortunate that that's where we're at. And what's the thanks? Less of a benefit at the end of the day. But yet again, this goes back to why we're seeing the reduction in applicants, the reduction in people wanting to be firefighters. Same thing with law enforcement. They have a tiered pension system. If you're not making it an appealing job, then you're not going to get as many candidates and quality candidates.
Quality candidates.
So
That's the big one there for me.
And there's the reason they changed the pension system in the early 2000s to begin with, the late 90s, early 2000s. They made the benefit better because we saw the same thing. We weren't having the candidate supply and the quality of candidate supply, so they increased the benefit to draw in people to this profession.
Well, this was
we learned
actually
nothing.
We don't. This was actually brought up on a very early episode of Original Firefighter Podcasting where Chase had asked me directly. He said he just asked an opinion from me that he stated it as, what did I think will be required to bring the people back to apply? Mm-hmm. And it's a simple answer. It's pay them.
Yeah.
This episode of the Original Firefighter Podcast is sponsored by Castle Contracting. Castle Contracting offers commercial and residential restoration, leading the industry in roofing, residential siding, gutters and downspouts, egress window installation, storm damage assessment and repair, and solar energy, saving you money and time. If you want to be treated like royalty, contact Castle Contracting to schedule a free inspection. Call them at 877-512-4207 or go online and visit castleexteriors.net. That's 877-512-4207 or go online and visit castleexteriors.net. Serving Illinois, Wisconsin, and Kentucky, Castle Contracting has you covered. Your home is your castle. Call Castle Contracting today. I mean, you know, I've referred now to Chicago Local 2 a few times on the show. You know that's again, we know that this Chicago Fire Department is the third largest fire department in the United States. Okay.
Yep.
So, well, it's third. So you have the third largest department working extreme conditions. I'm talking from the extreme conditions are to include the weather elements. They have 4 real seasons. You know, they have harsh winters, hot summers, humidity, and all the weather that comes with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you have, don't forget construction season.
And construction season. Yeah. So there's actually 5, right?
Welcome to Chicago.
Then they have the working conditions within their department that they are up against. They have a failing fleet. I mean, it's all over the social media. They're actually posting, you know, these fire trucks that are out of service, that are running on raggedy secondary equipment. And so the city obviously is not being financially responsible to keep up with the maintenance and replacement of their inventory, their rig fleet inventory. Then on top of that, you have the demonstrators and the flagrant, irresponsible, basically the turning a blind eye to the violence that goes on in Chicago, night after night. It's not just every now and then; it's all the time.
There's a reason they call it Chirac, right? That's what the residents on the south side of Chicago dubbed it, Chirac.
Yeah.
There's shootings every night.
Yeah.
People are murdered. I mean, you go down there on a Memorial Day weekend and 85 people are shot with 40 dead.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
It's insanity. But make sure law-abiding citizens can't have firearms to protect themselves.
And I lay all that out. And then on top of that, all that kind of bad, if you will, but then on top of that is just the normalcy of the fire department, of the fire service, the fires that they go on, the medical calls, all the other things that they have to be prepared for and do on a regular basis. And yet here they are 4 years later doing all this with no contract. It's disrespectful. They're being slapped in the face.
Yep. By people that say they support them.
Right. And, you know, they're not alone, because this will, as soon as they get things, if they get a contract, they get things figured out in Chicago, well, keep your eye on the ball, because it'll just be another major metropolitan area, a group of firefighters out there. It'll be fighting for everything that they can possibly get. And they'll drag their feet. The politicians will drag their feet and use and abuse them until they can't do it anymore. And then they'll finally figure out a way to pay them.
Right.
You know, and that's what I had said to Chase, was that you will have to pay these individuals going forward handsomely, if you want that fire protection to continue in the way that it's being given today.
Yeah.
Which is what should happen, because none of our problems are getting any, they're not going away. They're not getting any better.
Yeah.
You can't, to go back to the beginning of our episode here, we talked about politics. We talked about foreign policy. Why? Because if there are sleeper cells in the United States of America that just woke up, that's been the cautionary thing right now.
Right.
Is because we bombed Iran's nuclear facilities. Let's be clear about that. We didn't bomb Iran. We didn't bomb their people. We bombed their nuclear facility capabilities.
Yeah.
But because of that, now the pundits on this side of the country, in this country, are saying, well, nice job. You guys just probably woke up the Iranian sleeper cells, the terrorist cells. And it's like, okay, so we're going to at least acknowledge that they do exist,
right.
that we believe that they exist. I mean, I don't want that to happen, but if that's the case, then wake them up. Let's go get them. Let's flush them out.
But then who's going to be dealing with them?
That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
It's when those things happen every day, every time this happens, it is the firefighters on the front lines in our homeland.
Yep.
To include the police officers, to include the medics, to include the National Guard.
Yeah.
But when those things happen, and obviously we know, because 9/11 is always going to be there, we know who's going to show up first.
Yeah. And we still don't learn and understand that. So we continue to take advantage and take for granted the people that are there. So.
Well, how about if we go a bit more upbeat?
Time to get serious.
And we talk a little bit more about the other segment of the show, which is to swing through a little bit of history. Because what we like to do on Original Firefighter is to have conversations that also inspire maybe and kind of give us a call back to why we got involved in the fire service to begin with. Yeah. And I'm sure many of us know that, the actual firefighting spirit, the fire service in and of itself, it didn't start here in America. Ben Franklin was not the first firefighter.
Not possible.
We're going to go all the way back for just a minute. We're going to go to about 2,000 years ago. We go back to Rome.
BC, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
2,000 years back to Rome.
Sorry, you're not allowed to say that anymore. Didn't they change it as in BCE or something like that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Why can't you say BC?
Because BC is religious meaning before Christ.
Right.
Right.
What does the E stand for?
I don't know. That's a good question. Because I don't care.
Well, that's good. Okay, well, we're just going to pretend that doesn't exist.
I mean, I can.
Well, if you find it, you can enlighten us.
You run with it.
No, but the coolest thing that we do at Original Firefighter, we kind of have this the whole premise for the name of the company with the original in it is that we wanted to go to that hardened tradition of where the fire service began. And there's an image that's up on display right now. This guy looks like a badass.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's just an illustration. I don't know if this person actually exists. But
he did. I've seen him before.
Okay, cool.
Looks familiar.
Cool. Yeah.
Before Common Era.
Before Common Era. That's what BCE means?
Yeah. I knew that. I'm ashamed of myself right now.
Is that another one of those woke?
You can admonish me later.
Is that another one of the woke things?
It's been around for a while, I guess.
Before Common Era. Okay.
I won't allow the woke to take claim of that.
Claim everything? Yeah. They can't claim everything?
Claim everything. Just some anti-religious people.
This guy here looks like a badass.
Yeah.
Would he make it on ladder too?
I'd have to give him a shot. Make sure he could throw a ladder one-handed, maybe, and then we'll see.
But there are some really cool things that are in this image where I always am drawn to it. He's got everything covered. All the things that began the fire service movement, which would be, there's a bucket there. Obviously, some water was in there. It looks like he's got like the first version of like it's not a Pompier ladder, but it's a collapsible ladder.
Yeah.
Which obviously would be pretty helpful.
Yeah.
And then he's got the some form of a striking tool, not maybe quite an axe, but I think it's probably an axe. But this was the first firefighter.
Now this is what I don't like, but it's for modern times. He's wearing the skirt thing.
Yeah.
A lot of firefighters want to wear shorts and like that idea until you go on a medical call.
So you don't like the shorts?
I'm not a fan of the shorts. I would never wear shorts. I don't want to expose myself to that.
Look how hot it was yesterday, though.
I don't care.
There's a lot of fire departments that are wearing shorts.
That's silly.
Phil says it's silly.
Well, I think it's gross, right? We go into a lot of not clean places, crunchy floors, cat urine, stale cigarettes, bed bugs. Don't want to take that home crawling on my leg. But also the safety aspect that I look at would be the gear that we wear. Our current PPE with the PFAS in it absorbs right into your skin. So I'm a big fan. I wear long sleeves year round. I wear pants year round.
Really?
Even if I was working out, we catch a call, my full uniform goes back on before my gear goes on me.
So that's an individual choice.
Cancer risk reduction.
Sure.
Huge one.
Sure.
I wish more people did it, but I also understand their convenience and their reasoning, but it's one step that I can take.
Yeah.
So
this guy probably didn't have to worry too much about cancer because they only had a life expectancy to be about 35, 40 years old.
Oh, see, I would have gone 25, but you're going that old?
What's that, life expectancy?
Yeah.
I actually looked it up. Life expectancy. Yeah, the life expectancy was in that time period. The average life experience in Roman times was 22 to 33 years at birth. However,
so 25. I was
but what they also go further to say though is that that's the mortality rate from infant to that say around 22 to 33 years old. But that if you did survive into adulthood, then you could expect to go out to be maybe like 35, 40 years old.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
I get you now.
So it was an if there.
If.
But this guy,
never forget the butt.
Referring back to this ancient Roman firefighter. Yeah, he's got
that.
What's that?
I said never forget the butt.
Never forget the butt.
2 T's.
So this guy,
I'm the comedic portion of the show.
Well, that's to be determined.
Fair enough.
This guy, the Roman guy here, probably not being overly concerned about whether or not his cancer risk is prevalent or not.
Probably.
What is he thinking about? He's worried about oil lamps and open hearths and taking fire watch.
Barbarians and savages.
Which is where the watch came from.
Yeah.
So I think Chicago still does the watch.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Huh. Yeah. So even though which is funny because I know that they have the same automated system that we have here in Rockford.
Okay.
I think they use a different application, but
Not
it's
the Phoenix?
basically no. I don't think it's the Phoenix, but I don't know.
I've got a challenge coin.
Yes, you do. I gave you that, right?
You sure
did.
did.
Yeah, that's what you were worth.
Yeah. Challenge
a
coin.
Phoenix G5 challenge coin
that you were given for free.
I was given 2 of them. I was sharing.
Oh, well, thanks. Displayed proudly on my mantle.
So, is it now?
I got it in the challenge coin holder.
Yeah, it's still a challenge coin.
Still a challenge coin.
What could you think you could have made it in this time period?
No, God, no.
Well,
No.
why not?
I would have been like
You look like one of these guys.
The death at infancy, probably. They would have looked at me and said, "Throw him out. Get rid of him."
You're what? You're what? How tall are you?
6'5".
You're 6'5", and
yeah.
you don't think that you would be this guy back in that time? I think you would.
I don't
be.
want to say I'm egotistical.
Did you ever wear a kilt?
No.
You've never worn a kilt?
No. Not all of us were part of the Highland Guard.
It's not actually.
It's like a onesie dress, though.
Is it a onesie? I don't know.
mean, it's like the whole thing, and then they put the armor on over it. I mean,
I think you could pull this off.
The dude looks pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. I'm wearing flip-up sunglasses here, so I don't know, man.
By choice, by the way.
Hawaiian shirt and flip-up sunglasses right now.
By choice.
So, yeah, it's by choice.
So the first person to create a private fire brigade, he was one of the richest men in Roman history, Marcus Crassus.
Oh, you should have practiced that before.
Marcus Crassus.
Is that what
Crassus.
Wikipedia says? Is that how they pronounce it?
I don't know.
Crassus.
That's how I pronounce it.
Yeah.
Where can I get that t-shirt? Well, we got the answer. Go to originalfirefighter.com where you will find any of the t-shirts or hats that you see us wearing on the show. For every purchase at originalfirefighter.com, we give 5% back to supporting mental health and wellness for first responders. Go to originalfirefighter.com, join in the community, join in and become an original firefighter. So Marcus Crassus was the first to start a private fire brigade, but would only help if the property was sold to him.
Oh.
Yes. This is actually the premise. So for what it's worth, there's actually more backstory. This is the premise of where actually insurance agencies came from.
It's just an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That's all he is.
Because as this progressed, and this did happen in the East Coast here in the United States, is that when the insurances actually were the ones that had fire brigades, and if you subscribed to their insurance, you got protection. If you didn't, they just let your house burn.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that, and they identified
so
it
it's
because
it's kind of still going on if you think about it.
Well, in LA. that was identified because they had some sort of placard.
Yeah,
or something
they'd have
on
an
the building.
insurance mark.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, made of iron or, basically you had to affix it to the front of your house, and that fire mark, it was an indicator that your house was protected by XYZ fire insurance, and that they were the fire brigade that came out, put your fire out.
State Farm.
State Farm.
Like a good neighbor.
Yeah. Like not a good neighbor.
Yeah. Not in LA.
But yeah, so we can thank Marcus Crassus to at least start the premise in Roman history times of what a fire brigade, fire response might look like, which would, sort of lead to the Roman firefighters, the ones that would keep watch, the ones that would make sure that, oil lamps were put out at night, hearths were put out, and then they would, make sure that they didn't see any smoke. They would be up in these watchtowers, and if they saw smoke in the city or smoke somewhere, then they would respond to that.
Nice.
So that kind of brings us into the first public firefighters. Emperor Augustus founded the Vigiles Urbani in 6 AD. What does AD stand for?
Anno Domini.
Yeah. Is that just
I don't speak Latin.
I know. But isn't it, Aaron, you got some.
The year of our Lord.
The year of our Lord, right?
Anno Domini.
They didn't put an E behind that.
They did now.
Oh, there's there?
Oh, yeah. They totally changed the.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, that's not cool. So the way they did it is that they had a structure. The Vigiles Urbani had 7,000 men in 7 cohorts, and they were all assigned to parts of the city. And then their roles were fire suppression, fire prevention, and night watch. Thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, it does, if you go back into that far, far back time period, when we began this conversation, we said we're going back about 2,000 years, BCE.
BCE.
See, look at how fast I just assimilated.
Yeah.
And then we understand where the insurance premise comes from, and then we have the first public brigade by Emperor Augustus and the Vigiles Urbani, and then we get into sort of the roles of what this public department would look like, which would be fire suppression, fire prevention, and night watch, and those are things that still continue today.
Yeah.
So then this is where we start seeing the tools and techniques. We've got the buckets, which were made of leather, and we'll get into some of the, and Original Firefighter has a premise coming out with the leather entwined into what we're going to be doing here soon.
In-depth meaning in the fire service.
That's right.
Sure.
That's right. So the buckets were made of leather. The hooks, that was to pull buildings apart. The pumps, the axes, and then they would use vinegar-soaked blankets. Yeah, vinegar-soaked blankets. I don't know why.
Does vinegar not burn?
I don't know. Look that up.
Look that shit up, Jamie. I use vinegar to clean my workout clothes. It takes the odor out. For those of you distilled white vinegar.
I use white
that musty smell.
I use white vinegar to clean my fruit, strawberries, blueberries. I let them soak in water.
Get those little bugs out.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't want to eat those.
No.
White vinegar is great.
It is.
Buy cases of it at the old Costco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Costco.
Yeah.
Are you you're a Costco guy, not Sam's?
No.
Are you aware of Sam's?
I don't want to shop at the Walton family's.
I know.
Businesses.
I should have talked about that. Maybe I don't know. We'll save that for another segment.
We kind of talked about it, the Waltons.
Yeah, but
in the last podcast we did.
Did we? Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
That's who brought us the riots. Brought to you by Walmart.
The No Kings?
They funded it, yeah. They actually, the first fire pump was developed in Greek, or by a Greek citizen in the 3rd century BC. I'm going to stick with it, BC.
Okay.
Yeah. And then improved upon in the 1st century BC.
Really?
Yeah. Those Greeks, man, mathematicians all day.
Now we swing through from Rome to Ben Franklin. And that's a pretty big jump. That's obviously a very, very big jump.
Big jump.
But, all we're doing is just paying a little bit of homage to the fact that it was during that time period, the Roman Empire, that we get a lot of our trade, traditions, the responsibilities that come with being a firefighter. History matters. Yeah. You get to look back at it and wonder, why do we do some of the things that we do? Why do certain departments still have a watch? Yeah. Because at this point in time, I mean, is there really a reason for a firefighter to have to stay up in the middle of the night, making sure that, everybody hears the call? And I mean, do we really still need to do that?
No. Well, didn't they, at Station 9, wasn't there like an old Murphy bed that was there for the guy who was on watch?
Yeah, several of the Rockford Fire Department's stations had their firehouses had
the old
Murphy
log
beds
books and everything.
And then you had, and almost all of them have a watch desk.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Still have the watch desk.
Yeah.
For sure.
I remember seeing old log books that were kept by Rockford Fire, and the officers would write down every call that they went on throughout the day, throughout the whole 24-hour shift.
Do you remember a few years back they tried bringing that back and getting the red log books again?
Yes, I do.
When I was at 10.
Yep. That's actually kind of recently.
10. Yeah. So 2023.
Yeah.
I think we tried bringing it back, and it was like, what do you want us to write?
Right. Because we're already sending out 17,000 emails a day.
Everything is digital. We're still doing paper stuff. So it was. I get the thought behind it. It was for the station logbook, right? To write down if there was, the truck went out of service, so the other officers. Or
there was an effort to kind of bring back some personal accountability within the firehouse. Yeah. But it failed miserably. Yeah. Because technology is pretty much,
every. I don't know if every station has, but I know my officer's quarters has a whiteboard on it where we'll write messages to the incoming officer. So, or that other shift officer that, is 2 shifts behind me. I didn't speak with him face to face when something came up. So at least he knew in case the officer that I told didn't tell him, kind of thing.
Right.
So we have that, but I don't know if the log books are needed.
No, I would say they don't.
But it is cool to go and look back, 50, 60, 70 years ago, maybe more than that, of the logbooks. And
I think that's where this part of our conversation is important. I mean, I realize that we're not saying anything like tremendously profound here. I mean, probably if you're in the fire service, you know where our history begins.
Right.
And if you don't, even if your thought process only goes back to the American fire service and, you know, the East Coast being the birth of fire service in the United States and Ben Franklin and the bucket brigades and all that. I mean, you know, there was a time when, you know, they were fighting the Revolutionary War here and they were burning down our White Houses. You know, they were doing all the bad things to us, and we had to have firefighters. But to go back in time, to go back in your own history, especially within your own department, look back at some of that stuff. I mean, it'll be interesting. I always find myself, if I find something historical, you know, say an old logbook, I won't know a lot of those people. Some I still do. Like, you know, I look at maybe one, I might see, I don't know, Satterley's name in it. You know, that's an old name that's out there. Ron Hill, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, so you'll see people maybe that you know from way back when, but then go back even further. There's such old logbooks that are out there, and maybe not for every fire department that has that, but we did here in Rockford. And you would like read through them. They write paragraphs of like, you know, hooked a attic fire last night, stretched 2 lines, used 3 ladders. You know, they were like loosely written NIFR reports. Little narrative, right?
Yeah.
It's really, really kind of cool too. If you look at some of those logbooks, how many fires are written, you know, like, hey, went to 123 Walnut Street, went to 456 Cherry Street, you know, and it's like fire after fire after fire after fire.
Listen,
you know,
I did go to a fire one time. It was 1234 South Main Street.
Really?
What a fake sounding address.
Yes.
But it was actually that.
It was legit?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a fire on the first floor. Me and Captain Jeff Linden, at the time he was he wasn't even my second driver. He was just a blue shirt firefighter in the back seat with me. We went in and we rescued a few kittens.
Oh.
That was, we had 5 kittens. We were up there, we were doing a primary search, and we hear on the radio, hey, we've got the owner out here saying there's some kittens in there if you guys can try and find them. And as soon as we got that traffic, I go, hey, Jeff. He's like, yep, I think I got them. They don't look like they're alive anymore. He goes, are you serious? I said, yeah. So I start going down to kind of pick them up, and they start like,
oh, did they really?
And I'm like, I got them, they're alive. Lift them all up and go outside. And within like 10 minutes of being outside, they're all prancing around the backyard. My wife, that was right when we started dating.
Okay.
And that really, she was like, oh, that's my hero.
That got her hot and bothered.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Killed it.
Saving the kittens.
Yeah, kittens. Not that, and we just did it the other day. Not the other day, but I have a new recruit. He's got 6 months on the job, but maybe a month or two ago, we got reports of a dog. So I grabbed a dog, got the dog out. Dog survived, and then we got reports of kittens in the basement, and there was a box of kittens, and this guy's carrying out a box of kittens. And I was like, oh, your girlfriend is gonna have her way with you. Just tell her, like, yeah, we saved a dog. Save some kittens. So
it's always the animals.
Never a cat out of a tree, but
no, I've never had that.
Quite a few cats and dogs.
I have had when I was a district chief. I'd have one of the office assistants would come over and they'd say, hey, we got somebody calling in. They got a cat like up on top of a house or, you know, something like that. And I would be like, okay. Yeah. And what? Well, do you want to send anybody? No, we don't want to send anybody out. Yeah. The cat will get down.
Yeah. They got up there.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Don't call.
The old saying of the fire
Do not
service.
call 911 for a cat in a tree.
Never
don't
seen
do
a
it.
Cat skeleton in a tree.
No.
It'll get
now,
out.
I will say, I do like when you see like ducklings being reunited.
Oh yeah,
with their
from like the sewer grates or something. Yeah,
you know that's gonna
few
helpful
kitten from there too. So I mean, really cool story. So we had this. We got called and they could hear the kitten. It was after, I think it was last Labor Day. I had a really amazing fireman, Dan Ostrom, driving for me that day.
Mm-hmm.
So we get called, and the people were like, "We can hear the kitten, and we don't know where it's at, but we hear it coming from the sewer drain." So we're like, okay. So we get there, we pop the cover off, we could hear it, and then we use the thermal, and we actually saw it was in the like underground kind of in the little hole. We're like, man, how do we get this? This thing's just going to run away from us. So we went to the other side, got an SCBA bottle, cranked the air, came running out, and we grabbed it right out there. Phenomenal idea on him, man. I mean, that was
little scare tactic.
Quick.
Scaredy cat.
Scaredy cat. quick on his feet thinking. He's like, why don't we just grab a CBA bottle?
Yeah. Well, nothing gets past Ostrom.
No.
He just got appointed. I went to his the swearing in. So appointed to driver engineer, right?
Engineer, yeah. Back in January.
Where at?
He's at ladder 1.
Oh, good for him. He's was a good ladderman.
Yep.
So going into where we're ending up over in the United States, and again, so many references back to the medieval times and Roman Empire, the bucket brigades, the fact that church bells were used as the alarm to sound that you had a fire, which kind of goes along on the lines of, well, not kind of, it goes with why the bell is entrenched in the fire service still today.
Yeah.
But then we have the Great London Fire of 1666, that's what led to the insurance-based brigades. And then we get into 1736, which is when Ben Franklin founded the Union Fire Company in Philadelphia. And Franklin's vision was that he was rooted in prevention, community responsibility, and volunteerism, which really does make sense when you think of on the East Coast still today. You have some really, really steeped tradition of volunteering. You know, they still the volunteer vigil fire companies that are out there on the East Coast, like still really wanting to do the job but not be paid for it.
Yeah.
You know, which, you know, assuming that most likely it's a smaller community, tight-knit, things of that nature. I think that that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Obviously that doesn't work in metropolitan areas or even suburban, urban type, cities. You can't get away with volunteering like that today.
Yeah.
But again, so much of the tradition harkens back to that, go all the way back to Rome. Go back to the Roman Empire. Go into the first beginnings of the United States of America, where you find all the good, or just the traditions that we love. The brigades. I think we have a black and white of what one of our early fire brigades would look like. Imagine fighting fire like that.
Yeah.
And just the heroism within your community of answering the call, putting on, basically, they threw a helmet on.
Yeah.
And that's about all that really signified that they were a part of the fire brigade. And
they weren't really going interior.
No.
They were hitting it hard from the yard, is what we say.
They were hitting it hard from the yard.
We say, frankly.
More buckets.
Yeah.
Bring in more buckets.
More buckets.
Yeah. But I'm fascinated by all this stuff. I think that if firefighters, especially of today, and I'm talking about the young ones, the ones that are just getting into the fire service now, I hope that they do understand where a lot of the stuff came from. That departments take the minute. Yeah, I get it. We all want to be forward thinking and we want to be progressive and all that stuff. But I think that there's so much value to look back in time and see what did it take to get where we're at to where we're at today.
Yeah.
And I understand that you bring up, things like PFAS and cancer, increase and things of that nature, like all the hazards of the job today, which are not like back then.
No, it's the products that we're making now.
Yeah.
Right?
But you can still have the new technology. You can still have all those protections, but still treat the job like you're doing something that is very special.
Yeah. Well, the only way to progress is by learning from your history.
Right.
Right. I
Right.
mean, so without our history, we can't be progressive. We can't learn from it. So everyone should know about these things.
Right.
I mean, learn about large fires in the United States and learn about Mayday calls like you just recently had and learn about the NIOSH reports and all these things that we have. They're there for a reason, so we can learn from them.
Yep.
That doesn't mean we can't go back even further to think that a tool that I carry every day I go to a structure fire,
Yep.
right, is a tool very similar to what they were using 2,000 years ago.
Right.
Right? Modified, a little bit more updated, different, material, different things to it. But,
Yeah.
If it works, why change it?
We've got another image to put up here. This guy, there's this guy right here. I came across this photo, and I've looked at it intently, just to kind of pull something out of the photo. I'm always like, did he pose for this as if he's in his Class A uniform, or is this the garb that was like the normal? Was this the everyday uniform?
He's just a fancy lad.
He's a fancy lad.
He's like me. So that's more me than the Roman savage. That's
well, he's got the long sleeves on.
He does.
He's not wearing shorts.
Right. Yeah.
So he's protected.
That's wool too, so it's probably hot as balls.
Hell, that mustache protects him.
Yeah. Hey man, everybody clips their nose hairs once they hit a certain age, but
Right.
protect it in the fire service.
But I mean, it's just a badass photo.
Yeah. I like the bow tie too. Maybe I should get into bow ties. I've been thinking about it.
Bring the bow tie back.
Maybe instead of sunglasses, maybe that's going to be my new thing.
Yeah.
Every episode I'll wear a bow tie.
So this, I referenced that the Kentucky Derby this year. That was my third Derby in a row that I've been to, and we're going to go back next year. I haven't done a bow tie. Next year I'm doing bow tie.
I think you got to go suspenders and bow tie.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Like a little newsy, right?
Yeah. Because we dress up. Like we go all the way out. We go all the way when we go to the Derby.
Do you wear a fedora?
Do I wear a fedora?
Yeah, like Kevin Federson. Is that his name? Federline? Kevin Federline?
No.
Britney Spears' ex-husband?
No.
K-Fed? He made the fedoras big again.
No.
Is that too way back?
I've mostly worn the newsboy hats.
Oh, so that's
like a Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
That's what I did this year.
Newsy.
Yeah, this year I did.
Suspenders, bow tie.
This year I went really like kind of Peaky Blinders with a vest coat and an overcoat. But next year I'm going to do suspenders and a bow tie for sure.
Do it, yeah.
But this guy is awesome.
Like linen pants.
I don't know if I'm going to go that far.
I don't know. I mean, if you don't want to commit,
we'll see.
That's just fine.
We'll see. But that goes back to sort of the reason for this part of the conversation, which is we talk about on this show. We talk about how people they want the fire service to progress, and always sort of be like forward facing, moving forward. And there is always change. There's no doubt. There's really never a static moment in the fire service. It's very dynamic and fluid. But I've always said, like, if you can still find a way to make it cool, and that's not just hyperbole. That's not just bullshit. Like, if you can make it cool, then the firefighters, or even before people even know that they want to be a firefighter, if you can let them know, like, hey, this still is an awesome, cool profession, you'll get the people to start coming back. Yeah,
I mean, the helmets, that's the big one to me, right? Like, do you remember when we used to wear those turtle shells?
I do. It almost gave me night sweats.
Made me almost not want to come here.
No, but that's actually true. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I just like,
because I knew about the rock
guy's tradition.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
The big shield on the front.
Yeah.
Right. Old school helmets. Right. I wish we could wear leather helmets. Obviously we can't. That's fine.
Right.
We'll wear our plastic, whatever they're made out of.
And what was the term? What was the term used for those who wore leather helmets?
Leatherheads. Yeah. There's a group of the Fools. It's a nationwide thing. Fools. Fraternal Order of Leatherheads.
Yes, that's right.
Kind of a cool club. Not part of that, unfortunately.
You're not?
No, I don't wear a leather helmet. I'm not a leatherhead. Yeah.
Is that one of the requirements?
I don't think so.
I was going to say, I don't think you have to.
We don't have one around here. I mean, I think the closest one is like south side of Chicago.
Yeah, I knew that there
Southside
was one
Fools.
nearby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got some friends in that one.
Yep. But to what I just, but you bring up like the salad bowl helmets that Rockford went to, and they went to those helmets. So the class before me, and I get to say this because I just had a little soiree with some of my fellow classmates last weekend, and it was actually Jeff Linden. Yeah. He walked in, he goes, "Hey, fellow 96er," and we're like, "We're the 96ers," and I was like, "I like that. We're the 96ers." So the class of 95 in Rockford was the last class to get a traditional helmet.
Yeah.
And then my class was the first class to get the salad bowl helmet.
Oh, brutal.
And it was all based on some people's complaints of, the helmets are too heavy and hurt my neck and whatnot. And so they swung all the way the other way and went out and found the lightest fire helmet. And you just looked like a dumbass.
Dork.
You did. They were terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
I mean, it's still better than what they're doing in Europe, but...
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've already made fun of that on Original Firefighter. Those are terrible.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that or green fire trucks.
No.
And we had that in Rockford as well.
We did, lime green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody everybody went through a phase of like, oh, safety green. So
just it
but everything that goes back to the traditional way.
Yeah.
Fire trucks are red again. Thank God.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this. Fire department coffee has a black fire truck. It's pretty fucking cool.
It's cool.
But obviously it's not.
Well, it's red and black, right?
Yeah.
It's mostly black, isn't it?
Yeah. It's all, yeah. Their logo's red on there.
I have noticed.
It's not realistic.
I have noticed that a lot of departments are incorporating black. And that's kind of why, let's stick with the helmet for a minute. That's why the salad bowls went away, because nobody liked them, and it was an image thing. It was a pride thing. You can still, and now what do they have? They went to a composite helmet, but it's traditional looking, right?
Yeah,
it looks cool again.
Yeah,
right.
Yep.
And that's
what. Obviously, there are still cooler helmets out there.
But anything's improvement on that.
That's what guys forget.
Right.
Yet again, you don't learn from your history.
Yes, exactly.
Listen, guys, I know it's not what you want, but it could have been this.
Right.
Way worse.
Yeah. No, forward-facing things matter. Yeah. Remember the clown boots?
Yeah.
The rubber with the big yellow in the front.
Oh, God.
The first on the toe cap.
When I was 18 years old, I bought my first pair of leather fire boots.
Yeah.
They were expensive, but they were worth it.
And they're awesome. I still have a pair.
Well, so when I went through the academy here, they didn't have anything big enough for me. My gear was tiny on me, right? The pants were short and floods, and the boots, they didn't have a pair that actually fit me. So they allowed me to wear my leather boots. By the end of the academy, because we're on the ground, crawling around for so long, it actually wore away the tip of the boots. So it was down to the metal steel toe on that. But
it was a problem situation there. Yeah.
But they actually said, one of the guys, so we were in car fires or something doing that. They said, you can drop we would put the fires out, and they're like, okay, we're going to show you how to pop the hood and things like that. So you can drop your coats. It was hot out. So we dropped our coats, and I had the suspenders on, the pants that were floods. And I was a bigger boy then. And one of the guys in the academy, he's like, it was a Saturn. Do you remember those cars, a Saturn?
Yeah.
Really light.
Yeah.
And so I've got the pry bar, and I'm lifting the hood, and they're like, you're just lifting the entire front of that car off the ground. He's like, you look like Baby Huey.
But you look cool, didn't you?
Yeah. Well,
kind of.
Not really.
Not yet.
Not at that time.
Not at that time. That was
pre.
Yes.
Shades.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm cool.
Now you're cool.
Now I'm cool.
Self-described.
Cool Hawaiian shirt.
Well, we think you're cool.
Yeah.
So that's just a little bit of history there, and looking back, and the point that we want to make here is take some time and look back at the history. It doesn't have to go all the way back to Roman times. It doesn't even have to go back to Ben Franklin times. look back at your department's own history and, think about what made it cool back then to be on the job.
Yeah.
Some of these places, you look at this guy here and, some of these fire departments, they started out and they were social clubs. There's a place to play cards. There was a place to, gamble. I'm sure plenty of alcohol was consumed, in half of these joints.
Yeah.
But, a lot of these firefighters, they wanted to be there more than they wanted to be at home.
Yeah.
And that's not the way, we want to suggest that life should be. It's a reason to look backwards sometimes and appreciate where you came from or where half of this stuff came from. Most of it came from. And think about, well, what do you guys do in your own department today that keeps it cool?
Yeah.
Because if it's not, people they won't want to apply.
Yeah.
Who want, why people don't want cubicle jobs? Because they're not cool.
Yeah.
Fire department's cool.
You sit the whole time, get fat.
Yeah.
Lazy.
Right. The fire service is cool.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, when we kind of finishing this up, you guys just went on a little vacation, I take it?
Yeah. Went down to Shawnee National Forest in southern Illinois. Stayed in Harrod, Illinois. We had a treehouse cabin, which had a rope bridge to another tree that had a hot tub on it. That was just ours. It was pretty cool.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we
I
have,
didn't send pictures of that. Do you want me to send pictures of that?
Yeah, if you get it. Well, what's he got? What does Aaron have in the studio?
Just from the hikes from the forest.
Aaron, you got a couple of those pulled up there? What are we grabbing here? Who's this?
Sasquatch was giving me a piggyback ride, dude. Getting a little piggy.
That's awesome.
7 foot Sasquatch. That was one of the cliffs in Garden of the Gods. The observation trail. Pretty amazing.
So one more time. Start out. So where did you go?
Shawnee National Forest.
Which is where?
Southern Illinois.
Southern Illinois.
Huge forest. I mean, spanning
hundreds
of miles.
You just referred to Garden of the Gods, though.
Yeah. They have their own garden. It's not like not Colorado
Springs. Because as soon as you said that, I was like, wait a minute. I thought we were talking about Southern Illinois, but then you said Garden of the Gods, which is beautiful, by the way, out in Colorado. Holy cow.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. No,
so this is where you were at.
Yep. And so this is Rimrock Forest Trail down there. So it's just a bunch of different trails. So we stayed more central, southern. But I mean, it spans all of southern Illinois. So, I mean, you can go all the way west side of Illinois into Missouri. And so it spans all the way there.
Okay.
It just massive place. So, I mean, there's no way you could even take in. I mean, it's multiple separate trips just to go. I mean, because you're not going to stay and then 3 hours away is the other portion of the forest. So we stayed there in Harrod, Illinois, and yeah, I mean, just beautiful.
And you stayed in a tree house.
Yeah.
How many nights?
3 nights down there.
What were the amenities that came with that?
So I mean, it was a 1-bedroom. So you walk in, and I mean, it's not the biggest, right? So you walk in, and there's a bathroom there. There's a living room area, and then a kitchen, and then there's a circular staircase, spiral staircase up to the second floor.
Which also comes from medieval times.
Yeah. Up to
not the restaurant, the actual medieval times.
I was going to say I'm a fan of the Black and Red Knight, but
which I've never done that.
You've never?
No.
You've never been?
I've never been.
Oh boy, you need to check it out. It's good times. You get like your own crown.
Medieval
and a
times?
flag. It's pretty medieval.
Yeah. So the spiral staircase was created and used in castles, obviously, so that marauding armies, as they were coming in to try to take over castles,
couldn't
ascend while trying to draw out their sword or like their spears would get tight.
Yeah.
And it gave advantage for protection up above for troops coming down to fight off the enemy. It gave them the advantage.
Up higher ground.
Yeah.
It's always nice. Yeah.
So
the spiral staircase went up to the loft bedroom with the queen size bed.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah. But
your wife and daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then you had this walk bridge over to what?
So it was just over to another tree, little rope bridge, and then there was a hot tub there.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So you'd highly recommend?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to check it out.
Shawnee Forest Cabins, where we booked that through, and that was the property management there. They have other cabins that are, just single bedroom cabins, just a normal kind of cabin, but we saw that and we're like,
did they allow a campfire at night? Yeah, you could.
Yep. They have a fire pit there, grill, so you can do stuff. So, and we were right. It's the closest property to Garden of the Gods there. So, I mean, it's still a 4-minute drive.
Not Colorado Springs.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Still a 4-minute drive to the observation trail there, but super cool. And then we also, so because of this trip, we were like, you know what, let's do it again, right? So we're going to go out to South Dakota and Wyoming, and I already booked everything there, and it's glamping, right? My girls can't handle the outdoors like I can. So
I've done 2 trips out to the South Dakota, Wyoming, Buffalo Gap, Deadwood, Sundance, Wyoming, and then I've hiked to the Badlands twice.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, it is amazing.
Yeah,
Needles Highway, Devil's Tower, Mount Rushmore in and of itself it's all just amazing.
It's all where we're going. Yep,
and I would be happy to give you a few pointers or whatnot.
The good news, my wife, her family's from South Dakota, so we're gonna stop out there and maybe go to
Waldrug.
Waldrug, she did mention.
Yeah,
that.
you have to.
You have to.
You have to. There's free water there.
Yeah,
free water. It's funny because when you enter into South Dakota from the east, you almost immediately start seeing huge billboards for Waldrug. And it'll be like you're 300 miles away.
My mother-in-law actually has a little sign that says Waldrug, and I think it has like the distance away or something like that. Yeah, in her house. But my mother-in-law is from South Dakota.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that's where I think that's our plan. We're going to stay in Custer, and when we're out there, that's kind of the area we want to be in.
Yeah. So we stayed in Custer as well, and it's a good spot to get to everything.
Yeah.
And then and seeing the buffalo is amazing.
Yeah.
So we actually did a side-by-side for a day as well, and we did that all through the Buffalo Gap area. You'll have a great time. And if you don't mind, I'll just segue that into, I'm moving to Montana, getting back into the fire service after taking about a year off, and looking forward to all that. Obviously, this segment's going to come out. We pre-record our episodes, so it'll already happen when this airs, but we'll be seeing the episodes go to a remote setting. So Phil and I will be continuing to carry the show and doing our shows remotely. This is going to hopefully help us to branch out and bring people from around the United States as guests onto our show in that remote capacity. So we're looking to expand. We've already made great connections and relationships, if you will, across the country, from New York City Fire Department to Arizona. I just flew back on a flight from Phoenix, and the person sitting next to me, her entire, she's got brothers and brother-in-laws. They're all firefighters.
Nice.
2 of them are on Phoenix. One of them is a retired Honolulu firefighter.
Wow.
And I was just like, wow. I mean, very, coincidence.
Yeah. I wonder when he retired, because,
cool.
I mean, the fires in Hawaii not too long ago, and interesting to.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Chew on his ear.
I mean, everywhere we go, we meet great people, and what we expect to do is, with the new format, we expect to meet even more people, have other people on the show that are far, from around the country, if you will. I'm really looking forward to, getting out there and getting my feet established. I'll be be like 20 miles from Glacier National Park.
Nice.
So I do expect to share some of the experiences on the show here. And obviously, when you go out to South Dakota, take plenty of video and photos, and we'll always kind of start to bring those into the conversation as well. But that all being said, I mean, it's been great having you here in the studio today, and we're going to keep doing what we're doing on the podcast in our remote way, which is going to be kind of a cool Cool way of doing it.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good.
Yeah. And so with that, make sure that you're getting out and touching grass. Make sure that you enjoy your off days as Phil did. And thanks for sharing that experience here.
Yeah.
And as always, be safe. This has been the Original Firefighter Podcast. Thanks for watching and listening. Tune in each week on Wednesdays for a new episode. Like and follow us on all social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel today.